Doris Day really hated him more than anyone else. Doris Day was born Doris Marianne Kappelhoff on April 3, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio. She grew up in a regular middle-class family during the Great Depression. From when she was very young, she showed an infectious love for performing, initially dreaming not of Hollywood or recording studios, but of becoming a professional dancer. Dancing was her first great passion, and she trained hard, showing enough promise that she and a partner even won local dance competitions. That dream, however, was suddenly and tragically changed when a serious car accident shattered her leg and effectively ended her hopes of a dancing career. Yet, it was during her long and painful recovery that fate stepped in differently. Confined to her home, she began singing along to the radio, discovering a natural, effortless vocal talent that would soon become her greatest gift. Encouraged by friends and family, Doris began performing with local bands, eventually catching the attention of band leader Barney Rapp, who suggested she change her surname to Day. Inspired by her performance of the song Day After Day, this new name marked the beginning of her professional identity. Her breakthrough came in the mid-1940s, when she joined the orchestra of Les Brown, one of the most popular bandleaders of the swing era. With Brown, Doris Day recorded Sentimental Journey in 1945, a song that would become an anthem for returning World War II servicemen and a defining hit of the era. Her warm, clear, and emotionally sincere voice resonated deeply with listeners, instantly setting her apart from other vocalists of the time. Sentimental Journey did more than top the charts. It introduced America to a voice that seemed to embody comfort, optimism, and emotional honesty at a moment when the nation desperately needed all three. Hollywood soon took notice, and in 1948, Doris Day made her film debut in Romance on the High Seas. What was initially meant to be a modest acting opportunity quickly blossomed into a major film career. Doris possessed a rare combination of qualities. She was naturally beautiful without seeming remote or glamorous to the point of intimidation. She radiated sincerity, and she had a comic timing that felt instinctive rather than studied. Audiences trusted her, rooted for her, and saw in her a reflection of themselves or of the best version of everyday American womanhood. Throughout the 1950s, she became one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood, headlining a wide range of films that showcased not only her singing but also her dramatic and comedic abilities. Her dramatic talents reached a high point with Love Me or Leave Me in 1955, in which she portrayed singer Ruth Etting. The role shattered any lingering doubts about her range as an actress, revealing an intensity and emotional depth that surprised critics and audiences alike. Doris Day refused to be confined to a single screen persona, even though Hollywood often tried to cast her as the eternally cheerful, wholesome girl next door. In The Man Who Knew Too Much in 1956, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, she delivered one of the most unforgettable moments of her career with the song Que Sera Sera, Whatever Will Be, Will Be. The song became her signature, winning an Academy Award and transcending the film itself to become a philosophical anthem about acceptance, fate, and hope, values that seem to mirror Doris Day's own outlook on life. The late 1950s and early 1960s cemented her status as a romantic comedy icon, particularly through her immensely popular on-screen partnerships with Rock Hudson. Films such as Pillow Talk in 1959, Lover Come Back in 1961, and Send Me No Flowers in 1964 defined an era of sophisticated, playful Hollywood romance. Doris Day's comedic performances were marked by sharp intelligence and impeccable timing, and she brought a sense of independence and wit to her roles that subtly challenged the era's gender norms. Beyond her work on screen, Doris Day was also one of the most successful recording artists of the 20th century. She recorded hundreds of songs across pop, jazz, and traditional standards, and she remains one of the best-selling female singers of all time. Her voice, pure, expressive, and emotionally direct, had a timeless quality that allowed her recordings to endure long after musical trends changed. Doris Day's personal life, much like her extraordinary career, was marked by both deep devotion and profound heartbreak, reflected in a series of marriages that shaped her journey as a woman, a mother, and a Hollywood icon. Her first marriage came heartbreakingly early. In 1941, still very young and on the cusp of her rise to fame, Doris married Al Jordan, a talented trombonist. What began with hope and romance quickly descended into turmoil. The marriage produced her only child, a beloved son named Terry, who would remain the emotional center of her life. Behind closed doors, however, the relationship was deeply troubled. Jordan was physically abusive, and Doris endured fear and instability during a period that should have been filled with promise and joy. Summoning remarkable courage and resolve, she ended the marriage in 1943, choosing safety and dignity for herself and her young son over the illusion of domestic harmony. In 1946, Doris tried again, marrying saxophonist George Weidler. This second union offered companionship and the possibility of a fresh start. But it struggled under the weight of her rapidly growing stardom. As her career soared and her name became synonymous with wholesome glamour, the marriage faltered. The pressures of fame, combined with personal incompatibilities, proved too much to overcome. By 1949, the relationship had quietly dissolved, leaving Doris once more to navigate life and love on her own. Her third marriage would become the most significant and the most complex of her life. In 1951, Doris married Martin Melcher, a man who not only became her husband, but also deeply intertwined himself with her professional world. Melcher formally adopted her son and went on to produce many of Doris Day's most successful films. For 17 years, they remained married, a period that coincided with the height of her fame and productivity. Yet beneath the surface of professional success lay a marriage later, revealed to be fraught with control and financial mismanagement. Melcher's death in 1968 marked the end of the marriage and the beginning of a painful reckoning for Doris. Despite these disappointments, Doris Day never lost her belief in love. In 1976, she married once more, this time to restaurant owner Barry Comden. By 1981, the marriage had unraveled. For decades, Doris Day and Rock Hudson were held up as the ultimate symbol of Hollywood romance. But behind the studio-crafted illusion, the truth was far more complicated. Doris Day was known for her warmth and fierce professionalism. She valued honesty above almost everything else. I believed in being straightforward. If you didn't have that, you didn't have much. While the two shared impeccable on-screen chemistry, Day came to feel that their friendship had been built on something fundamentally false. At the time of their films together, Day was unaware that Hudson was gay, a fact carefully hidden by the studio system. When the truth became public years later, she was deeply shaken. It wasn't what he was, she later said. It was that everyone knew but me. To Doris Day, the realization felt humiliating. I trusted Rock. We spent years laughing, rehearsing, working side by side. I thought there was honesty between us. Her resentment hardened over time. People talked about us as if it were real, and I had to smile along with it, knowing it wasn't. When Hudson later revealed his AIDS diagnosis in the 1980s, Day's emotions grew even more conflicted. I was sorry for him, but that didn't erase what happened. In private, she was more direct. I felt foolish. And I don't like being made a fool of. Despite Hollywood's desire to immortalize them as a perfect pair, Doris Day refused to romanticize the reality. What you saw on screen wasn't my life, and it wasn't the truth. Doris Day passed away peacefully on May 13, 2019, at her beloved home in Carmel Valley, California, at the remarkable age of 97. The cause of her death was pneumonia. She requested that there be no funeral services, no grave marker, and no public memorials. Her legacy lives on in the warmth of her performances and the compassion that defined her later years.